Friends, I want to welcome you to another episode of Fire Pit. I'm here with Phil, and you may have noticed that we are trying to do a little bit more tech, a little bit more recording aesthetics, and so hopefully this video is working, and hopefully this microphone is picking up our sound at a better quality. You may also notice that we are not gathered around an actual fire pit, and the reason being, it is like 90 degrees today. So this is close enough. Phil, how are you doing?
I'm doing good today, Steven.
Yeah, thank you for this tea.
Yeah. As Steven is making tea, I'm certainly making cocktails, but you shouldn't drink all this in one sitting. This is like 2 drinks for one.
Okay.
2 drinks for one. Yeah.
Cheers. We were chatting earlier about how the day has been and stuff. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Coming into this.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to the conversation. I also recognize that, sometimes our ask is to show up the best we can on some days. And this is one of the days that I'm showing up the best I can. And I think when life is full and work is full, family is full, the obligations are calling, all of those things are playing out in this week. But what felt good was to create something with a friend and imagine, asking the question about what's possible, and what new can come out of good questions and conversation, and some intentionality. So I'm feeling good and I'm feeling excited about that part.
Yeah, and I'm coming in really similarly. There's sick people at my house. I was traveling last week. I have not had an actual break. We were in a little bit of survival mode, and this was something I was looking forward to. It could have been the light at the end of a tunnel more. It's like a little light inside the tunnel, and then I go back into the tunnel afterward.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I was getting in my car on the way over here today, and I was wondering, how am I gonna get in the right mindset to be creative and get out of survival mode? And then for whatever reason, instead of being synced to Spotify, my phone was synced to my Apple Music, and it brought up old songs that I had recorded, maybe at the end of high school or beginning of college. And it's just this pure, raw, not very good, creative, artistic expression. And it made me remember just how fun it was sitting around, probably using Audacity, not even having GarageBand at the time, and not knowing anything about making a mix or making things sound good, but just going for it. And man, I don't know how I'm gonna get those songs to people, or if it's even worth doing that, but just some of those. Man, I said something like, my rhymes are so smooth, they flow like diarrhea. They move by you so fast that they might not even see you. You can put them in the gallery with Sackler or Freya, and I'm making funny noises on some onomatopoeia. And so I just feel ready to be creative. And I'm here now.
Okay.
I was wondering how we're going to get here, now I'm here.
I love that.
So we should cheers our glasses too.
Cheers.
Yeah.
For the sake of the listeners, and I love that you brought that verse back out, and part of if when they hear your music today and hear your inspirations today, it may not be always clear where that came from. And so we were talking a little bit before the recording started, and I wonder if you're willing to tell a little bit of story about what song you were adding that verse on top of, and then when we get to the piano.
Oh, my first remix.
Your first remix.
There's a non-zero amount of listeners who know about this. There's definitely a non-zero amount of them, but there's not many people. But there was. So, yeah, I played on the piano. It'll come into life. But there was a time where. It is a current time where every now and then you do need to listen to Ludacris. Every now and then you have a day where it's like, man, we need a little bit of Luda in our world, in our lives. And for whatever reason, I when I was learning music theory in high school and also listening to Ludacris in high school, there was some of the wires crossed in a perfect way. And I made my first, remix ever. But I basically added ragtimey piano chords under Ludacris saying, "My chick bad, my chick hood, my chick do stuff that your chick wish she could." But then I do like ba 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 da bum bum, hey, yeah. So maybe you'll get me to play that on the piano today. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty timeless remix. I think.
I was thinking a little bit about. It won't show up today, but I was thinking about, and feel free to cut this out after. Some hip hop, and I think I went from like growing up on hip hop and R&B, and hip hop being a really important part of my childhood. And actually, on the way into town to a little coffee shop today when I was doing some work, I turned on Zero. Do you know Zero? Zero.
Educate me. Enlighten me.
Zero. Z-RO is a Houston-based rapper that was really popular in the early 2000s, and one of his most famous songs that jams on a karaoke day is well, this is maybe a PG-13 podcast, but is it PG-13? Can I say the word? What's the? Are kids listening to this?
Yeah, you say it and I can bleep it if I need
to. The name of the song is "I Hate You, Bitch," and it was a song that doesn't actually resonate with me today.
Cheers to that! All right.
But at the time, it felt like an anthem of I don't know why it was inspiring, but everything about the flow and the song felt like. In a way, you were ready to like fight. Maybe not physically, but in your words and in your attitude, and in remembering maybe that like you lost something, and maybe that like almost the idea when you get to apologies for even using a more violent word, but like when you get punched a little bit and you're like, what do I do? And I think part of what I learned about my own psyche actually is that sometimes. I will call it when I feel like the underdog is motivating for me. So that song actually wasn't about me thinking about some individual that I had negative feelings about. It was about being the underdog. But maybe the main point of this here is that it reminded me about the flow of rap, even though you put the Ludacris song to ragtime piano, that like artists with their voices have the ability to be able to create beautiful sounds, rhymes, and can you don't just like accidentally get up and like being able to do rap verse well. And so I think one of the things I'm excited about your music is your ability to be able to think about your jazz theory and your music theory work with your lyrical work, and be able to create really interesting things that I think are based in a musical experience and a musical history that is sometimes hidden. That's where I'm going.
And we got there. No, I'm here for it, man. Before we like get seated and stuff, what should people know about you?
Yeah. It's a good question. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I ask it to everybody.
Yeah. I think today what you should know about me is I'm a social entrepreneur. Co-founded a social impact consulting firm that helps nonprofits solve problems. It helps philanthropy support their grantees. And I think you will see the beautiful dogs come in, not very well behaved yet, but we're working on it. I'm a dog dad, and art and piano was a way to be able to express sort of art interest in a different way. And I would say like we're gonna get on the piano, but I started in a pandemic, and for me, it was an opportunity for my brain and my body to do something completely different that I had done in the past. And so I'm not a professional player by any means. I'm still learning music. I'm still learning to read. but what I find about it is like there's the structure, but then there's an opportunity to experiment, and I would say similar to where we started this conversation, test the limits and play around with and break rules within the structure of music. And so I have done that and are learning how to do that, and I'm learning how to give permission to say, like, I know what's on the page, but I also know what I'm feeling. So maybe what you should know about me is that piano and art is maybe a way to express feelings that I don't always have the words for. And I love being able to do that, and I love to be able to do that today.
Getting beyond the words to...
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so excited. So I think here's what we're going to do. We're going to attempt to move everything slightly that way.
Yeah.
And then I'll have Phil listen to my song every year that's come out. We'll chop it up about that for a minute. And then Phil has a song and can share about his piano and his composition and his musical journey. And then maybe we'll have time to co-create something at the end too. We'll see.
I love that.
So,
I love that.
Let's start moving things over.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna go.
just make yourself comfortable. Hey, what's up? Hi. Whoa. Hello. All right. So we're here. We made it to the couch. I'm gonna show Phil every year. I know you've heard it bits and pieces of a few times, but you've never heard it in this exact context, and so we'll get to see what's resonating today and just and springboard some things. So here we go. And it's exciting that this song has been out and I have over 70 monthly listeners.
Yay!
It's only been a month, but it's pretty cool.
Okay, who's rapping? Because this guy's weird. Got the face of a face who has faced all my fears.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
You can take it.
so I really appreciate you playing that again. And my reflection is less about, well, I'll get there, like how I'm experiencing it today, but also maybe want to reflect about how I experienced it the first time that I listened to it. The first time I listened to it, what struck me was your musicality, like the rhythm, how positive the song is. And I think in an era where like positive songs aren't elevated, they aren't sort of lifted up as the sort of standard of American pop culture, your song stuck out as an alternative to that, and that this version of either your hip hop or like pop and about like love songs and about breakups, or your Christian artist, you can be something in between. You can be reflective. You can again. I don't want to overuse the word positive, but what stands out is like honest and maybe and something that is like more optimistic. And I think the that still stands out when I listen to it today. But as I hear it again, one of the lines that I'm curious if you've had conversations with lots of folks, the only line that we repeat in the entire song is, well, today is a long, long voyage. There's no secret that the only secret is to enjoy it. Yeah. And I'm curious and like, is there from your perspective, it was like why is that lesson important today? And like, how did that come about? That being like the key, or if there's a line that's sort of underlined and bold in your song, how did that come out?
Yeah. Well, first I'll say I love that the word like positivity came to you, or positive came to you, and your association of it with being honest and being real. And because I showed this, because now that the song is out, lots of people have listened to it. My cousin listened to it, and she texted me, and she's like, "Steven, are you okay?" and so there is like a raw intensity, because I'm like I've said before, I'm getting something out of my system in this song, and those were not necessarily positive things to go through there. In fact, very painful and very hard. But I think there is like this, I'm going to get through this, I'm going to make it, I'm going to do the thing, that there's tons of positive energy going into that. And then also tons of, it's really, there is a hopeful outlook that like there is enjoyment to be had. There's this. And so to answer your question, I think in some of the more just like challenging times as I'm reflecting, and it feels like all your illusions of control, whether it's like your sense of control, your sense of control has been stripped away, or all of your illusions about your perceived ability to have control over everything are taken away. Realizing, the thing that I actually can't control is if I'm willing to enjoy this moment and all that it has, and all of its ups and downs, and and all of its like beauty and chaos and goodness and hardship. Am I willing to enjoy what this is? And one of the things that has been both, I guess you could say positive, but also really, really frustrating about this song is I released it like the day that it came out. We had to go to the ER for family stuff, and so I hated both how timely and how enduring, and how when I was going to pray and going to reflect, like, what do I need to help me get through? I wrote the damn song about it, And so there's a sense of, that feels really like a major affirmation to the reality of it, and to, it's something that I needed to say, it's something I needed to hear. And then I also, just like it's very, it's just life, but it's frustrating how the existential nature of it is continually enduring. Like it still feels relevant, even though it came out of a specific challenge and crisis and difficulty, and then it's very applicable to the other crises and difficulties that keep happening all the time.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
I'm glad you love it.
Because particularly reflection from your sister.
No, my cousin.
From your cousin about being concerned of your state of mind and your state of well-being when your cousin heard the song. Yeah. And I guess maybe for me, I think about like positive as a maybe general outlook in an arc of something, not a particular sort of moment, not a particular incident, not a particular illness, but our perspective about that, and our perspective about our own agency in that. And I think maybe what I hear in the song is your agency to own your own happiness, your own well-being, your own truth, your own and your own way of walking through the world, in a way that says like I'm still here, sort of regardless of what happens. And maybe that's the positivity that I'm talking about. And I what's funny is I don't I'm not a negative person. I'm not a gloomy person, but the songs that I most love are like A minor and E minor. Well, we'll get to that. Like they're very emotional, and they're very like, sometimes they're like dark, and they're deep, and I love that sort of that sound and that vibe. And so this is like opposite of a thing that I would necessarily turn on, because in terms of like how you're, but I'm drawn to it given all those things we just talked about. But again, the arc of what it means to live in this world. And I think there was a version of that. You could have been sort of a nihilist, and you could have been like, it's all over.
It's such a great song. It's like, it's all over. It's a 10-second song.
It's all over. Who cares? You could have sung the song of I don't know. Again, some arc around why does anything matter anyway? But that wasn't the point of the song. And holding that complexity, and it may be easy to I'm curious for like a sort of casual listener to overlook the depth of it in first listen, given the sort of notes and chorus and things that you choose to add in the song. But maybe this reminds me, maybe the second thing that I heard, as I have a piano teacher. We've maybe been doing work for maybe about a year, and her name is Debbie Suarez, and Debbie is a sort of master composer and all the things. And so more recently, we've been having conversations about composition, and she's been creating a lot of original work for scores and things of such. And sometimes she shows me the sort of behind the scenes of creating a score. And so it created a new appreciation for how complex it is to put that one song together. It's not a few chords on the piano. You have your drums, your piano, your vocals. You have at least two other instruments in there. You have a horn in there.
Yeah.
You have a horn in there.
And a synth and guitar and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The guitar piece that comes in, and so like even that part on the more technical side, I would say like great job from a technical side of putting this all together. And I'm learning that developing a modern song is just as technical as it is anything else, and maybe sometimes actually more technical than it is creating the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing I'll say about you mentioned, agency and this desire to like live my life and move forward, that sort of thing. I think that also goes back to the line about the Camino, like, oh, this Camino has been a long, long voyage. It's no secret that the only secret is to enjoy it. I think the other piece of that, in addition to all the illusion about control and all the things that you really are able, that you really have agency or influence over, is back to the image of the Camino, this being a long journey, and then. So there's not a sense of arrival or like, oh, we got through this thing, I'm just done now. It's like, no, I went through this thing, and now I'm going to go through another thing, and now I'm going to go through another thing, and we keep going forward. And the thing that I have experienced so deeply and so profoundly is I'm just being sustained by the love and generosity of God and other cool people to get through not just the hard times, but just to that's just how we go through life at the deepest core reality, even if we're not conscious of it at every single moment. But I think that the experience in this song and one of the things of why it's no secret, but the only secret, it's out in the open, but if you're not tuned into it, you can miss it. But that the only way that we live life is I'm sustained by God's perfect and unconditional and undying, unyielding love, and I'm sustained by the generosity and love of other people who are living in and out of that. And that's something I experienced both on the Camino, but also very, very profoundly in the midst of the trenches and the some of the darker days that inspired some of this in the first place. And so that is something that it's hard to put words into, again, which is why it's secret, and you have to enjoy it and stuff. But that's really important to me, and I'm glad that like the tip of the iceberg stuck out and that resonated with you.
It does. As you say that, there's one more idea that comes to mind for me, particularly about you being sustained by God and friends. And as someone who fits in my case, the generally agnostic bucket, maybe something between a former Reformed Christian and agnostic, I'm not sure. I think one of the at least something I was processing sort of recently is that in modern times, as more people are less connected to organized religion, less connected to ideas around God and faith, or a spiritual practice. I'm not sure how folks are grounded in ideas of what truth is,
what peace is, what sort of the North Star is of their life, what purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I love that that's like a core and like a core part of your life, your identity, your family, your community, your friends, your work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reflect that it feels like there's something that's missing in sort of the way we go about life. And if Instagram is our God, right? What does that mean for our mindset? What does that mean for our just the ways of like navigating and dealing with challenges and being able to have that longer term outlook? And it makes me think about where does our wisdom come from. Doesn't mean you agree with every piece of it, but sort of the basics of, again, what is your wisdom, and what are the stories and traditions that help you understand why the world is today, but also our place in it. And so thank you for like sharing a little bit about that. And what it means for you to be grounded in that in relation to that song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a profound opening and conversation there. Yeah, it makes me think of a few things. It makes me think of like Acts chapter 17, where Paul is in the midst of a bunch of he's in Rome, all these, and he's in I'm forgetting the Greek name of the place, but he's out where all the other philosophers, and they're talking about different things, and it just has this profound declaration that it is in God that we live and breathe and have our being, and so that like our whole lives. And when we often read that, I think just in our Western context is, oh, like my whole life, but it's really like in Him it's collective. It's and as a fun sidebar, if you are ever doing a Bible study, there's a thing called the y'all version where they substitute anytime it's a you plural, just to sort of get out of our individualistic mindset. There's so many y'alls in it.
I love that.
So it's like the y'all version is great, but it's like it's like in God that we live and breathe and have our being, or live and move and have our being. And so, as a starting point, that like this whole thing that we are all in is held and sustained, and I experienced that in relation to this song in a very, very like this personal, intimate family, like, and I say it in the song, like I'm still here, like I really do feel like I was carried through it, and it's my sincere hope and prayer that whatever the thing is that you or your people or whoever is going through, that is an ultimate part of the reality that you're experiencing, that like God is with you and people are with you and you're being carried through the thing.
Yeah.
And if this song can just like poke a little of that, man, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a minister, I can soapbox about this all the time. But the thing that's such bad news about Instagram being God, there's a lot of things I think are bad news about that. But one of them is it's you go online, you do something, then the algorithm says, oh, that's who you are, and then it just reinforces who it thinks you think you are, and it's not actually who you are. And so you're in this cycle of, there's a party that wanted to see more of this type of content, and then it like totalizes all of this about you. So you're in this cycle. It's like, oh, maybe this is who I am, and I want this, and it moves you. And all to say and I'm not trying to say blanket statements about the billions of people who use Instagram, like whatever. But I think one of the spiritual problems, in my humble, correct opinion, is it's this thing where it like slowly erodes your agency to say like, oh, I'm curious about this, I want to go find that, or I'm listening to something in myself and I want to go explore where that is. Instead, it just says, listen to this, and then listen to this, and listen to this, and listen to this, and listen to this, and listen to this. And I think back to your things about wisdom, not that I feel particularly wise at all, but I don't know much, but I do know that like a 10 second increment of scrolling probably isn't going to get you there. But also it's and this is not me saying like don't like scroll, like do what live your life, right? But it's like make sure you're attending to your own soul, like to be able to, if all of your, if it's doing all the thinking and all the reflecting and all the processing for you, you're not being able to listen to your own soul.
Yeah.
And to me, I find that to be deeply tragic.
Yeah.
And like the source of so much what feels like personal and communal disintegration, because we don't know how to listen to ourselves, and because of that we don't know how to listen to other people. Yeah. And then we don't know how to listen to ourselves because we don't know who we are. We don't know who we are because we don't know who holds us. Yeah. So
Stephen, I think that's a good word. And I think part of this, like, as a someone who literally deleted again my Instagram today. This feels very, very relevant. And because I haven't given Instagram or Meta almost any information about myself, I'll tell you what Meta thinks I am. So I'll tell you my age. I turned 40 this year, and certainly growing up I have black parents, so as a black American, but so given those two things, being black and being almost 40, and if you're watching the video, you will see my dear pup Jill giving.
We're rocking. We're rolling. We're doing it.
Stephen, a very special hello. So based on my profile, Instagram thinks that I love sports. Thinks I follow football and baseball in all the leagues. I have no idea who's playing. I have no idea who won the Super Bowl. I can remember who won the Super, but like I didn't know who was in the playoffs. I don't know who won. I don't know what players people go. But it gives me everything about what's happening in the NFL. It also tells me about baseball and basketball. Again, I generally care, and somehow the other thing it gives me videos of scantily clad women on the other side, because apparently this is what 40-year-old black men watch. I think clearly there's variety here, but based on Instagram, mm-hmm. on where I've been and what I think I should be, this is the type of stuff it gives to me. And the reality is like, if I'm on social media, I want to learn about interior design. Mm-hmm.
I think you would definitely have executed well.
Thank you. I was watching a video about how to properly run a chainsaw. The other day I was doing just like a little bit of research around how to build a proper brush fire. Like none of these things are in my Instagram algorithm. Yeah. If I had Instagram, these things don't show up. And so, I think this idea around like eroding your ideas and your own understanding of yourself, and taking away your ability to be able to think, and I'm not attempting to make universal statements, but I will say as an I statement, mm-hmm. It also clutters my mind and makes it harder to have fully free thought. Mm-hmm. That is unbiased. That is unbiased, and so I'm a fan of unplugging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think what that makes me think of is what I would call a spiritual discipline. I don't know if other people would. I would. The spiritual discipline of like digital minimalism. Yeah. Which is, it's not saying don't use technology. It's just saying make sure you're the person who's using the technology and not that the technology is using you. Yeah. And so, because every piece of technology has a way that it is like default settings where it's designed to be used by you a certain way, And you have to really ask yourself, is that how that is actually going to work for me? Is that how I actually want to use this?
Yep.
And so even in that, like there's space to reclaim some agency and to use it in the way that you want to use it and make it work for you instead of you work for it.
Yeah.
And so, and then because like you're saying, you also don't want to miss out on the things that you're genuinely curious about.
That's right.
And so, but you want to be able to identify the thought and the pathway to exercising your curiosity.
That's right.
And so it's just again it's like working with it and not it like just working you.
That's right.
So
That's right. And I think I have a deep belief in real life friendships, real person friendships.
Yes.
And I have a deep belief that quality is better than quantity in terms of the amount of people you may know and be connected with. Like, how many people can you call and tell them you love them? How many people will check on you if they hadn't heard, in a while? What memories do you share and hold with others? Even if we're not talking about sort of long-term friendships, what are funny moments that showed up, or interesting sort of similarities or backgrounds or stories, or again, and I think it isn't as a low social media user generally, I do think there's a space for that in ways that can show up on social media. But for me, to have those things in real life, even if I don't have immediate access to finding out what's happening, I find it more beneficial. And if there is a lesson about a spiritual practice here, it is about patience, and
and the pace of it,
and pace, and a deep appreciation for having opportunity for a slower life. Which maybe reminds me, as we're sitting here, if you're in the video, you see the docks in front of me, and there's a beetle hanging out on the ground because we live in the woods. So I'm gonna get up and throw the beetle outside so that it can live a happy life as we have this conversation. Yeah,
and this could be a good segue to move toward the piano. So you started taking piano lessons a couple years ago, and this is it feels like this is such a, I was gonna say countermeasure, which would be a musical pun. So let's do the countermeasure to, like, you have you run your own company. You're an executive CEO founder, and then also you're taking piano lessons.
I do.
And so I just feel like that it's good.
I do. And there's a little bit of background on maybe this piano, but also what it means to take piano lessons. This isn't just for anyone who's like ever been a executive or CEO or co-founder somewhere. Anyone who has just like generally stressful life, which is like 99% of the people that I know. I find it can be much easier to say when a Friday night hits, what bar am I going to go to, and how many shots am I going to take to somehow...
Or what Manhattan
or what,
are you going to blow their mind with? Yeah.
And so, for me...
Phil went to a bar and ordered Manhattan, and they said, "Whoa, we haven't heard someone order that in a long time." And I just think that is awesome. I love it.
It's a true story. But a part of this, I take lessons on Friday nights, about 7:00. And so my life is, when I wrap up the work week, one of the things that I most look forward to is lessons on Friday night. Yeah. And that is one of the ways of winding down, as opposed to the version.
A moment in time, and
Yep. So as long as I can, I'll continue to do it and continue to work out, or work at it, and enjoy the journey along the way. Yeah.
So cool. Yeah. So yeah, as we move things over, what have you been working on, and what do you wanna share? Tell us what you got going on and how it's been.
Yeah. Well, as I've been
No, you hold it.
as I've been learning a little bit more, one of the things that I've certainly have been attracted to and interested in was some of the hymns and spirituals, and the black folk music, or some of the classical pieces that come up. And for my piano teacher that I mentioned, one of the things that she was amazingly helpful. But you do your best for hope your dogs behave while you're shooting a video recording of all this, and you never know what's gonna show up. As I've been working through song and music with my piano teacher, some of the music that most resonates are some spirituals and hymns, and I've really enjoyed playing that. I've also realized, and just learning from my teachers, like, you have an arc of a song, but there's something that says I have to play exactly what's in the book.
Yeah, it's a roadmap.
It's a roadmap, and that idea, in a way, just like blew my mind. That says, like, we get to experience a song in the way that feels most interesting to us, given the skills that we have, and given my limited skills.
Yeah.
One of the songs I've been playing around with was "Go Down Moses," and it's not actually "Go Down Moses" anymore. It's something else. So I can't call it "Go Down Moses" anymore, but it started at "Go Down Moses" and has turned into something very different.
Okay.
So I'm happy to play this.
Yeah. some variations on Go Down.
Some variations, for sure.
How you feeling?
You know, to play it is a lot of fun. In a way, I know it's on the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
I know how it's usually played.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this shit. You added so much stuff. So much stuff, dude.
And again, it's a practice to say, to imagine things that aren't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
To
Totally.
have maybe permission to provide your own expression on stuff. And maybe this is a quick story of like, when I was growing up, I remember getting in trouble in school a lot. And I think part of when I was getting in trouble was that my teacher would say, hey, you have to do this thing in A, B, C order. Mm-hmm. And somehow in my brain, that didn't always equate. I always thought it was optional. And my parents were very concerned at moments. And either they said I was going to be a really good criminal, or or I would eventually figure it out and be a contributing member of society that had creative gifts. And I like to say that, like, maybe I landed where they hoped I would. And that we talked about the nonprofit consulting business and what it means to be a co-founder there. I would say, like, a lot of that is an opportunity to help people with like a particular problem and a particular solutions that don't exist yet. But then I would also apply that to like piano and creativity here. That again, leaning into it's like, what am I feeling? What am I hearing? Where is this? Where might this be going? What are the implicit and explicit pieces? And I think often in music there are often I don't know, hidden directions of a song or notes you may skip.
Yeah.
But I think it's fun to maybe make those more present or to skip those when you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good, and I was excited to figure out what it sounded like on first run because I didn't actually practice it that way.
Yeah. No, it's great, and I because I could even see some of the movements that are on this page, and you did like the bass notes going down, and then you made the dissonance really strong before the final, like, minor 5/1 resolution there, and it's just like, but I was able to see in real time you adding stuff to it, just moving your hands and doing things. The other thing I thought about is, it is a very tangible. Here's what's on the page. Here's what Phil added to it, and then I was listening and like watching your hands move, and I want you to do you hit the notes like several times like I want to grab that as a sample and then try to make a beat around it at some point because I was hearing like something like but just like whatever you did like both hands like yeah, that one with the sixth. Yeah, something like that. I don't know if I'll take it from what you just did or from your other recording, but I think that would be a fun challenge to build something around that. Yeah. I also just love your piano. It is so in tune, and so I love that it is the center of your living room.
So to that point, the piano, actually everything in the entire living room and kitchen revolves around the piano, and it's quite impractical. You know, and yet it is a thing that feels like it is most living into a creative life, and most living into something that is like has an opportunity to express joy every day. Every day, if you decide to sit and play on it. And I didn't actually tell the story about where the piano came from.
Yeah.
there's still a dear friend of mine, was a founder of the organization called Piedmont Animal Welfare Alliance, who started a program called New Leash on Life. And so as you're seeing the video or even hearing, you've heard Jill and Finley in the background, who are two rescue dogs that came from this program, New Leash on Life. And if you know anything about it, essentially they take in dogs that are hard to adopt for a variety of reasons. They train them for 10 weeks in the prison, connecting with men in the prison, and then they adopt them back out to families. And Candide, and just building relationship with her and serving on the board with her, she had this piano, and it's about 100 years old, and it comes from her aunt, who I think played, and Candide, please forgive me that I'm forgetting the name of your aunt in this moment, but I'm gonna go back and find out. But her aunt played, and her aunt passed it down to Candide, and Candide played piano for a long time. So I think that would have made this version. It says that would have made this version of this piano like early 1900s.
Yeah, that's wild.
Early 1900s, and yeah, and I appreciate just the gift of. And I think that's what it means to be in Winston-Salem sometimes, of like we are a place where we share time, food, gifts with one another in a way that is unique than any place I've ever been. And so I hope that Candide hears this, and I hope that I can actually play this for Candide one day soon. Yeah.
Man, this has been so awesome, Phil. And we could call it here. I also just want to play your piano. Mm-hmm. So may I hop on here? So something that I'll share is, I guess Emily interviewed you on her podcast that was sort of inspired by the conversation we had on this podcast, where she cast the vision for another friend cast. Anyways, it's starting to happen. It is very cool seeing just the way that whatever this is developing and taking form and taking shape. Whoa. That was wild too. Your dog barked, and then I hit the sustain pedal, and then it echoed through. But something that she had the foresight to do was to have a theme song for her podcast on the first episode. And I'm wondering if I just noodle around on here for a little bit, and we arrive at something that could be a potential theme song for this podcast. I will say I have a melody and some stuff kind of cooked up already, but I think I'll have to get there as I play for a little bit.
Okay.
Wait, have you been composing stuff too, or?
I've composed a couple songs, and one of the things though is that I don't always write it down. Mm-hmm. They feel like sort of passing memories, and being inspired in this moment.
Yeah.
And I've created them, composed them, and then I'll let them go.
Sometimes you compose a song, sometimes you write it down, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just let it go, maybe it comes back to you.
Maybe it comes back, or maybe it goes to somebody else who uses it for a different reason.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with any of those outcomes.
That's awesome. If you want to play an original one, you should hop up here and do it too.
Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
But we want me to go first?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, we'll see how... Man, this is beautiful. I love this. it took a second to get to like da na 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 na. Something like that. Anyways, that was very fun. I'm sure we can make something work from that.
That's a good jam.
Yeah.
That's a good jam.
Well, Phil, any parting words that you have for folks? Let me get out of the. I realize that this is a really fun angle for everybody to look at my side here, and then I'm gonna sit on this bench. Anyways, hey, here we go. Yeah.
This is a good time.
Yeah, this is sick. This is awesome.
Thanks for the push. And I'll say, when you first brought up the idea and said, Phil, in the friend cast, I want you to play piano. I was like, you want me to play piano? Steven, I'm not sure you really want me to play piano for that. But, I think what we talked about is the point is not about necessarily like, have you mastered the thing? We talked about again, are you on board with the journey along the way?
Yeah.
And do you have a positive and optimistic outlook? And are you willing to go along with the good times and bad times alone? And I would say embarrassment and but also the joy that comes along with doing hard things for the first time. So thank you for the opportunity to be able to play in the conversation that goes along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing your piano and your gifts and your time and all of this. And yeah, I love getting to. I think maybe this was in Emily's podcast, but you just said something about being attentive to the process of it, not necessarily the outcome. And I think this is a really cool way for people to see the process of it coming together. Like, I don't know if I played for 2 minutes this time or 10 minutes. I really don't know. I was kind of lost in it. And so this is cool. It's exciting, and we'll definitely do more of these things. And as a very brief outro, let me just play you those quick ludicrous chords. It just goes a little something like this. Something like that. Alright, peace out everybody. This was awesome. Oh man, that was great.